Take a moment and look at the palm of your hand. You see skin, veins, and the faint lines of your grip. You see a body that feels entirely your own, a singular, cohesive piece of biological machinery. But if you could zoom in, past the cells and deep into the double helix of your DNA, you would find something unsettling. You aren't just you. You are a walking graveyard. You are a living record of every catastrophe, every plague, and every invisible killer that ever tried to wipe your ancestors off the face of the earth. We like to think of evolution as a slow, steady climb toward perfection, driven by the need to find food or attract a mate. But that's only half the story. The real driver of human history wasn't just what we ate or how we moved. It was what was eating us. For millions of years, the most powerful force shaping the human genome wasn't the saber-toothed tiger or the freezing cold of the Ice Age, it was the microbe. Bacteria and viruses have killed more humans than every war, every famine, and every natural disaster in history combined. And because of that, they are the primary architects of who you are today. This isn't just a metaphor, it is a literal chemical reality written into your code. To understand how we got here, we have to go back to the year 1347. In October of that year, 12 ships docked at the Sicilian port of Messina. The people on the docks found a horror they couldn't describe. Most of the sailors were dead, and those still alive were covered in black boils that oozed blood and pus. This was the arrival of the Black Death in Europe. Over the next 5 years, it would kill between 30 and 50% of the entire population. It was an apocalypse in slow motion. But here's the thing about an apocalypse. It is a filter. If you lived through the Black Death, it wasn't just luck. In many cases, it was because of a tiny variation in your immune system. In 2022, a team of researchers led by evolutionary geneticist Luis Barrero at the University of Chicago published a landmark study. They took DNA samples from the remains of people who died just before, during, and after the plague in London and Denmark. They found one specific gene called ERAP2. We all have it, but it comes in 2 versions. If you had 2 copies of the good version, you were 40% more likely to survive the Black Death. That is a massive evolutionary advantage. After the plague passed, the frequency of that good version skyrocketed in the surviving population. But there was a catch. That same gene that saved your ancestors from the plague 700 years ago is the same gene that increases the risk of Crohn's disease and other autoimmune disorders in humans today. Your immune system became a high-performance engine designed to fight a specific, deadly fire. Now that the fire is gone, the engine is so powerful it's starting to burn the house down. We are the descendants of the survivors, and we are paying the price for their survival every time we deal with an allergy or an overactive immune response. But the influence of disease goes much deeper than just tweaking our immune genes. If you look at the human genome, only about 2% of it actually codes for proteins. For a long time, scientists called the rest junk DNA. They thought it was just biological clutter. They were wrong. About 8% of your DNA isn't human at all. It's viral. Millions of years ago, ancient viruses called retroviruses infected our ancestors. These viruses work by hacking into a host's DNA and inserting their own genetic code. Usually when this happens in a normal cell, the infection dies with the person, but occasionally a virus would infect a sperm or egg cell. When that happened, the viral code was passed down to the next generation. It became a permanent part of the family tree. Over millions of years, these viral sequences became trapped in our genome. They are called human endogenous retroviruses, or HERVs. Most of them are broken remnants, like ancient ruins, but some of them were repurposed. Think about the placenta. It is the most essential organ for human reproduction, the thing that allows a mother to nourish a growing baby without her own immune system attacking it as a foreign object. The protein that makes the placenta possible is called syncytin-1. But humans didn't invent syncytin-1, we stole it. Syncytin-1 is a viral protein. It was originally used by an ancient virus to fuse with host cells. Somewhere in our deep evolutionary past, an ancestor of ours was infected by a virus, and instead of killing us, that virus gave us the ability to give birth to live young instead of laying eggs. We are only mammals because a virus hijacked our DNA, and we decided to keep the tools it left behind. This process of stealing genetic defenses didn't just happen with viruses, it happened with our cousins too. When modern humans first migrated out of Africa about 60,000 years ago, they stepped into a world they weren't prepared for. They encountered new climates, new foods, and most importantly, new diseases. The pathogens in Europe and Asia were completely different from the ones in Africa. Our ancestors' immune systems were flying blind. But they weren't alone. Neanderthals and Denisovans had been living in those regions for hundreds of thousands of years. Their immune systems had already spent millennia learning how to fight local diseases. When modern humans met and interbred with Neanderthals, we didn't just exchange culture or physical traits. We engaged in a kind of prehistoric biological espionage. A 2016 study found that modern humans carry Neanderthal DNA that specifically boosts our immune response. One group of genes, known as the TLR6, TLR1, TLR10 cluster, is essential for detecting and reacting to bacteria and fungi. Humans who carry the Neanderthal version of these genes have immune systems that are much more sensitive to the environment. Again, it's a trade-off. It helped our ancestors survive the trek into a cold, hostile Europe, but it's also why people with those specific Neanderthal genes are significantly more likely to suffer from hay fever and asthma today. We are a patchwork species. We are a collection of emergency measures and desperate adaptations. Every time you get a fever, every time your body reacts to a grain of pollen, you are feeling the echoes of a war that has been raging for 3 billion years. For most of human history, the world was a very dirty place. We lived in close contact with animals, we drank untreated water, and we were constantly bombarded by parasites and bacteria. Our DNA evolved to thrive in that chaos. It built an immune system that was aggressive, paranoid, and incredibly fast. But in the last 150 years, we have changed the world faster than our DNA can keep up. We invented antibiotics, vaccines, and sanitation. We moved into climate-controlled homes and started washing our hands with antibacterial soap. We effectively turned off the enemies that our DNA had been training to fight for eons. And now, we're seeing the consequences. Scientists call it the old friends hypothesis. The idea is that our immune systems grew up alongside these microbes. We needed them to teach our bodies how to behave. Without them, the sophisticated weaponry inside your DNA has nothing to do. It's like a standing army with no one to fight, so it starts patrolling the streets and attacking its own citizens. This is why we are seeing an explosion in inflammatory diseases, from type 1 diabetes to multiple sclerosis. We didn't just conquer the microbes, we removed the very things that made us who we are. When you look at a history book, you see names of kings, dates of battles, and the rise and fall of empires. But the real history of our species isn't written in ink. It's written in the scars on your genome. It's written in the viral code that allows you to breathe in the womb. It's written in the medieval genes that saved your family from the plague. We are not just a product of our successes. We are the sum of everything that tried to kill us and failed. Our DNA is a library of ancient deaths and narrow escapes. We carry the history of the world inside every single cell, a silent, invisible testament to the fact that we are the ones who made it through the dark. We traded a world of constant infection for a world of safety, but we brought the ghosts of those old battles with us. And every day, those ghosts are still there, deep inside the code, reminding us that being human means being a survivor.